looks like it could rain any second, so I did some flying really quickly. And what did I read today? How about this one? Apparently another story of emergency crews saying there was a drone around, and because of that, they had to halt all operations. This one says, drone incidents hamper Port Hills firefighting efforts. Two separate incidents of private drones being sighted caused helicopters fighting the Port Hills fires to be grounded last night as well as this morning. Incident controller Steve Kennedy said that a drone was spotted flying around Westmoreland in the Kashmir Road area this morning, saying, quote, "I urge any people out there with drones to please just keep away from the area that we're working in." 5 helicopters had to be grounded for 45 minutes to an hour from 9:50 a.m. They go through all their takeoff procedure, they've got to come down and go through their landing and shutdown procedure, so it just all adds up, especially when we're using them as one of the main resources to get this fire out. Kennedy said that overnight, Fenn's drone flights across the fireground identified around 60 hotspots, 35 of which were on the perimeter. We're putting all our resources into those hotspots, and especially in some areas that could be problematic if we get a weather change tomorrow. And with that, they actually talk about whether or not you as an individual can tell the difference between a personal drone and a private drone. And it says, when asked how the public could tell the difference between a private drone and a Fenn's drone, Kennedy said if a drone was up during the day, it was not one of theirs. We're only flying our drones at nighttime from about 9 p.m. to early hours in the morning. Again, you have to wonder if that's the appropriate reaction and response, because with anything in general, for example, flocks of geese and so forth in the air that could pose a danger, people don't go this crazy shutting everything down and all that. You just, again, deal with it. Although with that said, apparently in some places, when it comes to, I guess, airspace and all that, they just literally ban everything. How about this one? This one says, DM orders temporary ban on operation of drones. Now, why are they doing this? Apparently it's because they've been receiving reports of, quote, security threats. It says, District Magistrate Jammu, Sachin Kumar Vishya, responding to intelligence reports highlighting potential security threats, has issued a comprehensive order under Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code 1973. Effective immediately and continuing until February 20th, 2024, the order imposes restrictions on the operation of drones, remote-controlled micro-light aircrafts, paragliders, paramotors, hand gliders, and hot air balloons within the district. Notably, this precautionary measure is in place to counter possible activities by terrorists and anti-national elements. Exceptions to the ban include aerial surveillance conducted by security forces during VVIP visits or with specific written permission from the district magistrate's office. Defense and paramilitary forces are exempted from these restrictions. Can you imagine that? Like, in most places where they will probably do stuff like this, where when there's a, quote, security threat, I guess you could say, they'll ban literally everything, even, quote, balloons and all that. Although in that sense, if they're doing it for everything, would you say, well, at least that's, quote, fair, I guess? And this was kind of an interesting read, as I read about that story before on how there were Indian farmers protesting, for example, and officials were actually using drones to fire things like tear gas and stuff at them. Well, apparently they're fighting back, and it's kind of interesting because it shows you how vulnerable a lot of these modern day drones are in terms of being able to take them down. It says, Indian farmers battle drones with kites as protest enters third day. The farmers protesting in India seeking repeal of farm laws and fulfillment of promises to find ways to ensure support prices. They have decided to block rail traffic in several parts of Punjab to protest against the police high-handedness against them. Moreover, the farmers are now using homemade weapons against the state-of-the-art weapons of the police. They're using kites to bring down police drones that are carrying tear gas shells. In the outskirts of New Delhi, thousands of farmers led by 250 farmer unions are gathered and protesting for guaranteed minimum prices, debt relief, crops, and policy reforms. On the other hand, a series of talks is underway between the farmer union's leaders and the agriculture minister. A few days ago, the Delhi Chalo, or Let's Go to Delhi march on the Indian capital by thousands of Indian farmers demanding the government pay more for their crops was halted by the police. Since then, the farmers and the security forces have been engaged in intense battles on a daily basis on the northern side of Delhi-Haryana border. Internet services also remain suspended in Haryana state. Well, that's kind of crazy too. Then again, I guess a lot of people are upset with things like government regulations and all that. They feel it doesn't represent them as individuals. And it makes you think, like with that previous story, as I mentioned, why don't you just take care of it? I mean, in this case, it's a little different with the situation, but look how low tech they are in terms of dealing with the situation, I guess you could say. All right, see you guys later.